What's going on, yo? Welcome back to basketball, and more importantly, welcome back to another mock draft. I promised you guys every 2 weeks we're going to be checking in on the prospects, and that's what we're here to do. Pretty plain and simple. I'm still getting introduced to a lot of these guys, so I'm looking forward to diving into it with all of you. But anyway, before we do that, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment on my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. I put out 3 episodes of some different series this week at the time you guys are seeing. There's this last week in the film room. That's the biggest series that we're doing every single week. A 2-hour video. Please go show it some love and support. We got the rookie report, diving into the film of all the rookies each year. So if you like mock drafts and you like new players, that's probably the series for you. We also have the episode 2 of the progress report out by the time you guys are seeing this. I actually recorded that this morning as well. Your boy's kind of busy the next 2 days, so he has to get ahead on a couple things. But anyway, go watch all of those. Show him some support. Let's dive into the mock draft. Alrighty, so a little bit of a preamble before we get into this mock draft, right? Your boy typically covers these drafts pretty intensely, right? As you guys know, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, we covered all of the prospects in extreme depth last year. We went into each kind of guy got his own breakdown. We covered a lot of the draft stuff because I work professionally kind of within that space and evaluating talent and everything. So I like to think there's a good reason to kind of hear what I have to say about things. But because of how my business works and operates and just kind of the logic of everything, I don't really start getting into the prospects until about February, something like that, maybe a bit of January and such, but really there's not much of a point in looking into them too much right now. We're missing a lot of sample size and things. The season just started, so I'm really in a stage of getting familiar with names right now, and I like to present that to you guys beforehand so you guys know I'm not just like talking out of my ass or something like that. I don't know what I don't know about these guys yet, and until I have a decent amount of film to go back and look at, I'm not comfortable giving evaluations on any of these guys. And I'll say, I've seen a lot of comments on my YouTube channel already, and in my Discord, and in my DMs, and other things like that, of people being like, EVC, what do you think of this guy? Isn't this guy the greatest prospect ever? Motherfuckers, it's been like 1 game. Calm down, just please. Like, I understand you guys are excited about all the new shiny things always, but holy shit, like, be a critical thinker for once. We know, like, nothing about these guys yet, nothing. And if you think you have a hard opinion on it right now, you're just not being logical. You're just not being logical about it. We can enjoy the things that we've seen early on, but let's not make any like rash comments or anything yet. Let's just say, oh wow, that was fun, that was cool stuff, and let's wait till we got the sample size and everything. But anyway, now that AVC's done educating the idiots of the internet, let's move on. Number 1 pick right now, and by the way, we're not worried about like the team fit or anything right now either, because look, like the NBA season's just going on. We don't know what the order of anything's going to be right now. Darryn Peterson, was he number 1 2 weeks ago when we looked before? I don't quite remember, but yeah, I saw the highlights of his like first game on Instagram or whatever. Who are we comparing him to? They're comparing him to Anthony Edwards. Wow. That's high praise. I didn't know he was like that level of athlete or whatever. Like, from my understanding, he's like kind of a combo guard, creating his own shot. He shot the shit out of like the 3 ball or whatever early on, but supposed to be a pretty complete player. I've seen people compare him to like Dwayne Wade, Kobe, all this other shit. This is the thing. Nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about yet, right? I'll give you some real like comparisons and stuff like that later on. In the season or whatever. Like I said, maybe around like February and stuff like that is when we'll really start to like dive into all of these guys or whatever. But Darryn Peterson, he's number 1, right? Anything interesting? His shot making was the story, but immediately evident how shifty he can be maneuvering with his dribble, using to create jumpers and shots for teammates. Hey, if you can handle and you got multiple combo moves to go to, that's great. I'll be curious to compare him to like Darryn Peterson. My laptop's making noises. Shh. Go away. But yeah, I'm gonna be curious to compare him to like who did I say compare him to Dylan Peterson? Compare him to Dylan Harper is what I meant to say, because those guys kind of remind me of each other. This shows you how big Harper was, right? I mean, 6'6", this guy's 205. Harper was like 220 last year. That's enormous. So yeah, I'll be curious to see some more of this guy in a little bit. The Atlanta Hawks, Cameron Boozer. I've seen some incredible rebounding performances out of him, and at the time of recording this, I know he like played last night or something. He said something like Duke's coach was calling him soft or whatever, and that's why he had such a big second half in the game. I know in the first half he was pretty ineffective from the field, so after people were like creaming their pants from the first week of him, and then it kind of died down or whatever, but just relax, right? I'm sure the kid's going to be great. I'm sure he's going to be great. So don't overreact to everything right now. But 6'9", 250, built just like his pops. Built just like his pops. So what's kind of the thing with like Cameron so far? Is he shooting? Is he creating? I'm curious to hear. Boozer may have raised the bar even higher after 2 exhibition games when he combined for 57 points, 35 rebounds, 10 assists, and 5 threes against UCF and Tennessee. Wow, 57 points through 2 games. That is a lot in college basketball. Always important to note as well, the translation from college basketball to the NBA, very, very hard to kind of take a look at. It's very, very different games. So if you see a guy like handling the rock in college, don't just assume that he's handling the rock in the NBA. It's extremely different. So look at that stuff critically. His physicality around the basket, that's kind of the stuff I expect from just like what I've heard about him. Handling body control, attacking, improving shooting range, and passing IQ are all going to help. I mean, whenever you got like NBA players, kids and stuff, typically you expect the IQ to be pretty high just because they've been around high-level basketball their whole lives. So I'll be curious to see like what type of player is he. They're comparing him to Boncaro, which maybe that's not the comparison you want to get right now, but just from like the physical like side of him that I've seen and heard about him so far, I can kind of understand that. So him being number 2, so does that mean AJ's number 3? AJ DeBonsa, number 3 out of BYU. I think I've seen most of his clips up to this point, and I think what stood out to me so far is like the explosiveness does seem to be a pretty high level, and like the jump shot looks pretty smooth early on, which is cool. 6'9", 18 years old compared to T-Mac. Wow. A 30-point preseason debut, again, just preseason or whatever. And also, like, a lot of times these early games in college basketball, for those of you not paying like super close attention to college basketball, these like first 2 or 3 like non-conference games or whatever, like usually there's a lot of blowouts in these and pretty exaggerated stats with things because good teams are playing bad teams for money and that type of stuff. So just kind of know that or whatever. By the way, wearing my Hawaii Pacific shirt right now. Your boy can't go into too many details about why he has this shirt or whatever, but look into Hawaii Pacific right now if you didn't see the news or whatever. But shout out my friends out there at Hawaii Pacific. Still 18 years old, his size and power instantly popped and stood out on the NCAA floor. Start explosion, those are some of the things that I just noticed early on. I don't know about strength necessarily, but he seems fearless, at least early on, which is cool to see. So whenever you got a 6'9" guy that can handle the rock and stuff and he's explosive, that's going to really intrigue NBA people, right? Because those are kind of what the top players look like nowadays, so no surprise to see that. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more variable, right? Because I think a lot of people feel like these 3 are going to be kind of vying for the top spot early on. So who do we got here? We got Koa Pete out of Arizona. I've seen a good amount of him so far, just because, like, again, like Instagram and social media have been pumping him out quite a bit. Like, he's been just kind of operating in like high posts and stuff like that and hitting like jumpers and shit like that. Again, I haven't seen like a ton of it, but that's just kind of what I've seen so far. This is also the draft of apparently a lot of bigs, which is great because we need more bigs in the NBA right now. We're kind of at a low point right now in terms of just like having quality bigs on every single team. And look, bigs are harder to find just naturally because it's harder to find taller people, right, that are skilled enough to do it. But you get my point. A lot of like the power forward roles, though, not like true centers, kind of like tweener bigs. So I'm kind of curious to see that because we phased out a lot of those people in the NBA, and like there's a couple still kind of hanging around, right? But these kind of like tweener bigs don't always tend to translate the best. But Koa will stand out for his 6'8", 235-pound frame as a freshman. Yeah, that's nuts. Creation flashes. I've seen some of that in shot making from the post and mid range. Again, not really an NBA style of play that I've seen so far, but a very physically gifted person. He could divide scouts, with some likely to buy the tools and polish, and others who may question the translatability of a 6'8" power forward with limited range. See, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, there's a ton of skill there, and you can always take that skill and turn it into something else when you get to the NBA, but it's from the little bit I've seen, and it's just a little bit, right? It's not like an NBA style of play or anything, but 6'8", moving that well and everything, big body. I'm always going to be curious about it, right? Always going to be curious. Oh boy. We've all seen the comments in AVC's video about Nate blank Ament. That's how I'm gonna put it. But we ended the cult. We ended the Nate Ament cult. But out of Tennessee, 6'10" small forward. Oh boy, compared to Risa Shea. Interesting. While Nate Ament's Tennessee preseason debut was mixed, the positives outweighed the negatives. At 6'10", the ability to turn and shoot over defenders stood out first. So we've got kind of a Michael Porter Jr. type. Is that what I'm understanding? Like jump shooting 6'10" guy. As his handle improves, he has the potential to become a unique shot creator with his release point. So he's one of those guys that just gets really straight up and down, blah, 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 blah. He's a jump shooter. He's listed at 207 pounds, so he's skinny right now. That's fine. I'll have to, like, when we check out the film on him, we usually like to be like, hey, how much are these guys going to grow into their bodies, right? Because that's part of what I do, and I'll find that kind of interesting here. So we got a jump shooting 6'10" guy. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Jaden Quaintance out of Kentucky here. Yeah, he's like the first sophomore coming in, right? Or no. But yeah, he is a sophomore, but he was young in college last year. I keep forgetting like all the details about these guys. Like I said, I'm learning as we go. But they're listing him as like a power forward still, not quite a center, 6'10", 255 at 18. That's enormous. That is a big-ass dude. Yep, he had an ACL tear. We don't know his return date. Okay, so he still hasn't even suited up yet. And that's the thing with college basketball is they don't disclose that stuff anymore. Didn't they note that they're going to start disclosing that or something? I have such a hard time keeping up with college basketball, and I really should because it's part of my job, like know all this shit. But I feel like the rules are just changing so much. I feel like we just need to like take one off season in college basketball and just fix everything and just really sit down for like a week in a boardroom and just be like, all right, we're knocking all this shit out because like all the rules are so fucking confusing at this point. I'm talking about like transfer stuff and everything. It's too much. He played 24 games, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, he's going to block a lot of shots. Well, he still has to improve the shooting range and overall half-court creation. He'll offer the type of functional physical tools. So people always try to turn like people into these all around like demigods or whatever. Like, what is he gonna do well now? Is he like a run, jump, and dunk big? Is that what he can do for me right now? Because like most of these guys, when you have to remember when they get drafted, they're not gonna be asked to be the number one option right away. That's just not how it works, right? So I'm curious to see kind of where we think he's gonna go. Mikal Brown, he's the big guard out of Louisville, I believe. Yeah, 6'5", 180, skinny fella right now, and he's compared to Anthony Simons, right? Because he's like hitting like some outside shots, right? A poor shooting preseason debut against Kansas became less worrisome after he bounced back for 28 points and 6 assists against Bucknell. Yeah, good old Bucknell. It's such a skill gap difference between like the low like D1s and the D2s you play earlier and then like the high major ones. It's insane. It's insane. So there's levels to this shit. He's shifty, he's explosive off the dribble, and a quick twitch guard who can create opportunities with his handle and burst. See, that intrigues me, right? 6'5", can handle the rock well, he's a good passer. That sounds like an NBA player to me. That sounds exciting. Again, haven't really watched the film on any of these guys yet. It's my understanding that he's gone on some three-point burners as well. So that intrigues me. Is he actually 6'5"? AVC's going to stand next to him at some point. AVC 6'5". I'm my own measuring stick because the NBA Combine doesn't know what they're doing and stuff. But regardless, I'll be curious to see that. Another power forward, Caleb Wilson out of North Carolina, 6'10", 215. So yeah, a little bit on the skinnier end here. Again, we compare it to like 6'10", 255. My goodness, that's much more of like a freshman or whatever. No, he's a sophomore, right? Is he a sophomore? I can't remember. Preseason film on Caleb Wilson, no, he's a freshman, right? Yeah, with the high school tape that shows a unique defensive weapon, an easy basket finisher, capable mid-range shooter, and overall raw offensive player in the half court. So what that reads right there is motherfucker can't play offense right now. Like, he can't really do much for me outside of like catching some alley-oops, which is fine. And that's why they're comparing him to Jonathan Isaac, but he's super versatile defensively. Again, these kind of like tweener guys don't really have a clear fit in the NBA right now, so I'm curious to like get into the film on him at some point and be like, hey, can this guy translate? That's why we have the series called Do They Fit, or Does He Fit in the NBA, right? That's more so what it's about. We get into the film of these college guys, and then we talk about how does that translate to the NBA, because that's kind of the difficult thing to project here. The Boston Celtics, Braden Burries. I don't quite remember this name necessarily, but we have a 6'4" shooting guard, 20 years old, compared to Quentin Grimes. So he was out there last year. That means there figures to be a steady stream of any NBA support for Burries, a polished scorer in his school, his strength attacking downhill, shot making skills, and pro guards frame. 6'4", 205. He doesn't necessarily look like all that bulky or anything, so I don't know. I mean, 205 is like, that's fine. I wouldn't call him like super strong or anything like that. It doesn't look like. He does most of his damage at the rim or behind the arc, We love that. Where he's a confident shot maker, but still needs to become more consistent. You had me for a second there. Showing some secondary playmaking feel. So yeah, he's not a primary ball handler, so that's why we're getting the Quentin Grimes comparison. Feel should be enough for Burries to be viewed as a lottery caliber prospect. Right, pick number 9 right now, and we're getting Q Grimes comparisons. That feels appropriate, right? Like combo guard type of guy. Okay. I'm interested. 6'4", maybe a little bit small, but we'll see. Braylon Mullins. Again, I remember this guy just because of how he looks more so than anything else. Oh, and by the way, I meant to say it at the beginning of the video. I saw this because I'm thinking about this because of the Hawks. I said at the beginning of the video, you guys don't get to react to the college players right now and have super intense opinions and care about the draft that much right now because it's illogical and it's been a short amount of time. The one team that does get to overreact to everything are Atlanta Hawks fans. You guys get to overreact to everything because y'all are going to have a fun season. You get to root for your team to win every game, and you get to root for the Pelicans to lose every single game because you could end up with like the first pick and be a playoff team, and that would be awesome. So you guys get to just enjoy the season. I'm not about not having fun, so Hawks fans, you guys get to talk about it. No one else gets to. Sorry, Pelicans fans. You guys should really look away. But yeah, the Spurs, this just looks like a guy that the Spurs would take, wouldn't it? So maybe I can get behind this fit already. But white guy from UConn, what does he do? Probably shoots the shit out of it. Shooting guard, 6'5", 19 years old, compared to Peyton Pritchard, though. Interesting. Tell me more. An ankle injury will delay his debut another month. So we don't know anything about him yet. Scouts should quickly detect and covet his shooting efficiency. He hasn't fucking played yet, so who cares? But we're comparing him to Peyton Pritchard. Defensive toughness, IQ he'll be one of the top freshman three-point threats. See, this guy screams catch and shoot three-point guy to me, but you're saying he's Peyton Pritchard, which means he should be like deadly with the basketball and like impossible to keep in front of. So what's it gonna be? Bleacher Report? I need to know. Oh, it's Hans Steinbach. I showed this guy to my wife and I just liked his name. Out of Deutschland. So our first true big, 6'11" center, 19-year-old, playing for the German like national team or whatever. He's at Washington, and they're comparing him to Mo Wagner because of course. Skilled, offensive-minded big who can play out of the post, pick and pop, and pass. So we've got more of a hub type of guy rather than run, jump, and dunk. These guys can be very valuable. I think the latter is probably preferred, but this is the other type of big that works, right? These guys that are kind of like playmaking types more so. The question is going to be defensively, what can he do? He instantly stood out in the preseason game. He had 22 points, 16 boards. That is nuts. Showing his touch, IQ, footwork, athleticism on the open floor. Sounds more like a Şengün or something, but how is he scoring? Washington figures to feature Steinbach in the half-court offense, which could allow him to showcase both inside game, pick and roll set. Cool. Okay, that's going to be a fun one to break down then film-wise. I'm curious to see more of him. Bennett Sturts out of Iowa. Your boy has gotten to see him pretty up close and personal this off season is what I'll kind of leave it at. But yeah, this is kind of the prototypical like older guy in college basketball that kind of tends to dominate everybody. But we think in this case, this one can actually translate to the NBA, which is interesting. Got him listed as a point guard right now, so primary ball handler, 6'4", $190. Comparing him to Ty Jerome, I guess that makes sense, just built off the frame and everything. We've seen enough of him. He's played college basketball for a while, right? Operates as both the lead ball handler and connector with his shooting and passing IQ. So yeah, I feel like, I don't know if I see him being primary ball handler in the NBA. Feels more so like the combo guard off the bench type of guy. So I like the Ty Jerome comparison. That feels appropriate, but we'll see kind of what he's able to do this year. Advanced ball handling, shooting, and finishing field decision-making. Seems prepared to replicate last year's offensive success with more credible opponents. He's a guy that a lot of people think could be like the leading scorer in like college basketball this year, but with how the Big Ten plays, they don't necessarily always put up a ton of points. Tundi Yesufu. I watched a bit of this guy. I've liked what I've seen out of this dude so far. I just like his frame more so than anything else. This kid's enormous. 6'5", 215 at 19 years old. In that build, they're comparing him to Cam Whitmore. He reminds me of Ant, man. Like he reminds me of Anthony Edwards, just like watching him. And he's giving me some VJ Edgecombe vibes as well. Not quite as like smooth athletically and like polished as like VJ was early on. And again, very, very, very early, right? Let's not overreact to what AVC's saying too much, but I find him to be particularly interesting to watch, just because like the combination of like athleticism and like I take a look at some of the shooting stuff and I'm like, I feel like we could get there with this guy, but I've just been intrigued with the physical specimen more than anything else. I'm curious to see how he does this year. Potential weaknesses or concerns to monitor that could slow down interest: inconsistent shooting and lack of playmaking. So that's the thing with VJ, right? Like VJ could shoot, right? I know he started out the year a little bit cold, and then he got like a lot hotter, and that was kind of what happened in the Olympics as well. And will this guy have any playmaking vision? Because VJ had some of that as well. But the physical specimen itself is extremely intriguing to me, so I'm gonna be something to watch here. Last lottery pick here, Dame Sarr out of Duke. Duke's got so many of them this year. We've got a small forward, 6'8". There's going to be a lot of Duke names in this, right? At 19 years old, comparing him to Justice Winslow. I probably said this 2 weeks ago, but that's not a name that I've heard in a long time. And that tells me ball handling, forward that can't shoot. Shooting will be a swing skill for him. Yep, there we go. Whose size, athleticism, and motor and shot-making flashes will otherwise serve him well enough. So here's the thing, right? For guys that are ball dominant, right, coming in and like trying to make their spot in the NBA, remember, in the NBA, the best players tend to have the ball for most of the game, and then that gets amplified even more in like the playoffs and settings like that, right? So if your primary skill is being a ball handler, you better be really good at that, right? Because otherwise you're going to get to the NBA and you're not going to get to do the number one thing that you're good at right away, which doesn't always spell well for prospects. So that's always going to be my main thing when I'm looking at prospects like this. I have no idea if this guy's good enough to do it or not. I just haven't seen it. But that's going to be the immediate question, right? Is this guy good enough to warrant getting the ball early on in his NBA career? Because that is a very difficult thing to do. Otherwise, what else can he do? That now we have questions. So that'll be my thing there. Kareem Lopez out of New Zealand. Yes, I've seen some of him. I've got a couple of my clients are NBL teams, actually, so I get to watch a decent amount of Australian. I like the NBL, man. I think it's fun. They're comparing him to Patrick Williams, which is always a death sentence, unfortunately, but we'll see. Lopez continues to shoot well in the NBL and potentially important development for the 6'8", 225, 18-year-old. He's big. Big-ass kids, man. Again, kind of a tweener positionally right now. Because remember, in the NBA, they don't call things really like point guard, shooting guard. No, we've moved to like a little bit less positionless basketball, right? Like, you don't have to have a 4 on the court. Nobody talks like that anymore. We've got guards, we got wings, we got forwards, and we got bigs. And then the decision becomes, okay, are we doing a 3 big, 1 forward, 3 guard, a forward, and a big type of lineup? Is that how we want to go about it? Do we want 3 forwards out there and like a wing and then a big? Like that's kind of how people talk about things more so. So when they say power forward, I hear forward. But is he supposed to be a big? That's more so how I take a look at things. And if you want to be a high-level scout or something one day, just start to learn that terminology. Still, blah, 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 blah. He needs to improve defensively. Ooh, interesting. And he lacks an in-between game without any post-up skill or pull-up jumper. So what does he do? What exactly does he do offensively? That's going to be a big question. Tweener with no clear offensive game, that screams other players in the NBA that haven't worked out quite as well. Malik Thomas out of Arkansas. Already interesting frame on this guy. Ooh, another big point guard, right? 6'5". Comparing him to Jordan Clarkson, so maybe more of a combo. He aced his first impression against in a matchup against Cincinnati. 6'5" combo guard. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. And again, combo guard just means like sometimes you got the ball to initiate possessions and stuff like that. Sometimes you're more so playing off ball, right? That's how we take a look at things. Looked comfortable off the ball, stepping into catch and shoot threes with a speedy release and making decisive decisions, attacking closeouts. That's great. That's good combo guard skills. If he can avoid raising questions about the shot selection or efficiency, so he's one of those spark plug 6 men type of dudes, right? That's why they're comparing him to Jordan Clarkson. It's always the thing with these guys. Their role is to score, and sometimes they go a little bit too far with it. Isaiah Harwell out of where is this guy out of? I can't even tell what this is exactly. Interesting. We got a 6'6", 220-pound freshman. Has the body and shooting stroke and defensive tools to play a 3 key. Okay, I kind of remember this guy. So we're just saying 3 and D to the max with him. 6'6", 200 pounds. Okay, this isn't the same article that it was like last week, right? There's no way. No, this was written recently. Did they just like copy and paste some of this shit here? They very well might have, and like fair enough. It's not like much has really happened up to this point, so don't give Bleacher Report a hard time for that. You guys don't have any new takes either to talk about, but we joke about this every week. What is it? What is it? There's a 20-pound difference here. What kind of diarrhea did he have between this and this? I don't know, because I've told this story a lot in these videos, but all the time when I'm scouting or recruiting or doing things like that, people will call me and say, I got a 6'7" wing that can jump out of the gym and shoot the shit out of the 3-ball or whatever. I'm like, oh shit, send me the tape. And all of a sudden the tape says like, so-and-so 6'6" wing or whatever. I'm like, oh, lost an inch. And I watch the film and the announcer goes, yeah, it's 6'4", and I'm like, oh, see, here we go. And then I go check out like his huddle account and it says like 6'2" combo guard or something. I'm like, God fucking damn it. Like, happens every time. Motherfuckers just be lying. How is it so hard to measure people? I don't understand. He's a good catch and shoot guy. Defensively, he's aggressive off the ball. Cool. 3-and-D type of dude. That makes sense around pick like 17, right? By the way, you guys should go watch my video because this is important actually. Which NBA teams develop talent? Right here, because one of the topics we cover in this is how likely guys are to stick around in the NBA. If you're really excited about the guy projected to go like 17th in a mock draft, cool, but just know less than 25% of players actually stick around with their team past their rookie contract. That's something that we dove into there, and that's something that we've consistently known. It's pretty hard to last and be important in the NBA, so just know that most of these guys are not going to make it. Most of them are not. So something to keep in mind. Chris Sinak Jr. out of Houston. Yeah, that's right. Houston's got all the bigs. Another kind of tweener guy, but he's at 6'11", 240. So that's NBA big size. Khalil Ware. Has a center in size, high offensive skill level with the ability to make tough jumpers from outside the key. Yep, that sounds a lot like Khalil Ware. So that's how I'm going to think about this guy for the time being. Again, just getting familiar with these prospects. Just getting familiar. I take it we got a pretty good athlete, so like lob catching, dunker spot finishing, defensive court coverage. Cool. However, he's going to generate more NBA attention with his ball handling and shot making flashes. Okay, that's 6'11". If you can do shit like that, I'm interested. So I don't know why you're all the way down here then. Tells me something else. Darius Acuff. I don't know. Shout out Arkansas putting together a team. I've heard some stuff about what goes on inside Arkansas. Nuts there. Point guard, shooting guard, so combo guy at 6'3". That's worrisome. We're comparing him to Darryn Williams. Why are we so unsure about the position already? Can we not handle the ball at 6'3"? Preseason games against Cincinnati and Memphis highlighted his burst in the open floor. Every player plays like that nowadays. Handle in the half court. Okay, that's good. Strength on drives and potential playmaking. Okay. It also showed he may benefit from having other ball handlers earn defense's attention. Okay. High usage. The scouting lens will be on his shooting consistency and decision making. Okay, so maybe we don't trust him with the basketball quite as much. That's a red flag. We move on. LeBaron Filan. We actually got a video on him if you want to go take a look at like some real in-depth thoughts that I got on him. Where's his video? There you go. There's a LeBaron Filan video that I can give you right there. I was certainly intrigued by him as a prospect. The Alfred Payton kind of like Anthony Black comparison. Probably a good one here. I liked the pace and bounce that he played with in his game. Caden Boozer, the other Boozer, another Duke guy. Compared to Trey Jones, from what I understand, supposed to be kind of the playmaker of the two. Smart decision maker, steps out, hits threes, physical defensive player. There's roles for that in the NBA, man. 6'4", 205 at 18. I'll take it. I'll certainly take that. Yaxel Lendeborg. Yes. Another guy that so many people were like, you gotta make a video on him or whatever. And I already knew that he wasn't like gonna like enter the draft and everything. And so I was like, oh no, I think we should wait to make sure he declares and everything. And yeah, he ended up going back because he got way more money to go to Michigan, whatever, which good for him, man. Go get your bag. But yeah, kind of an interesting guy. I've said before, he reminds me of Kuzma, but like the good sides of Kuzma and what we want Kuzma to be. So I'll be excited to break down some film on him this year. I think that could be a good one to watch. Carter Knox. Yeah, I feel like I've seen some film on him before. He came live in February last year. That's right, he was around last year. And now he's back at Arkansas after going through the draft process to join a team that lost 4 of its 5 top scorers. So something to always remember when guys like go into the draft process. One of the main reasons they do that is to get feedback from people like your boy right here. That'll like kind of work with them and be like, hey, these are the things that you need to work on to come and play like in the NBA, because it's a big difference. I can't tell you how many of these guys come in and like these college coaches don't teach them anything, because college coaches don't know enough about like the NBA game. I'll be like, all right, you're gonna set a ghost screen here and do this, and they're like, what's a ghost screen? I'm like, oh boy, okay. And look, like you can teach them those things, it's fine or whatever, but I'll be like, hey, so like this worked for you in college, it doesn't work for you here. Those are some of the things to look at. So that's what he went and did. It's great to go get feedback and stuff like that. Ade Mara. Interesting. This boy looks like he could hear a pin drop in the forest. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but whatever. 7'3". Oh boy, 255. Oh boy. 20s from Spain compared to Roy Hibbert. Oh, Roy Hibbert was fun back in the day. Limited production. He had a bounce back season at UCLA last year. He should have a brighter spot this season at Michigan. That's right. That's where I've seen him play this year. I believe I've seen him play this year. I know I was watching like one or two clips. That's literally like all I saw of like Lendeborg or whatever. And I was like, oh, who's that big motherfucker on the court with him? Interesting. So that's who it is. Tahad Pettiford. Here, Chicago Bulls get a point guard. Thank you. It's about fucking time. Yeah, we did a video on him last year too. I really liked Pettiford. Some off the court issues and stuff. And he's small, which is always a concern. I like him, though. I like the prospect a lot. I really do. He was going to be one of my sleepers in the class last year, and it was a good draft class, but he's going back to Auburn, got paid, going to get to show his stuff. We'll see how it looks in year number 2 of him, but yeah, go watch my video on him if you want more in-depth thoughts on him, because I thought he was fun. Isaiah Evans, another Dookie. I shouldn't be calling people a Dookie, but Isaiah Evans. Cool basketball player, 3-and-D. That's what you're supposed to get out of him. I know he shot the shit out of the basketball, I think like yesterday or something like that. They're comparing him to AJ Griffin, just another Duke guy that kind of played a similar role like that. Look, if you can shoot the shit out of it, you got good size, and if you can play a little bit of defense, the frame is a little bit worrisome. He's got that Brandon Ingram kind of Kevin Durant build to him, right, where he's a slim reaper type. That can hurt you a little bit defensively at times if you don't know how to use your length to your advantage. But yeah. Certainly a role for types like this in the league. Oh, look at my Chicago Bulls. They're all the way here because they're ranked number 1 right now. Bulls are number 1. Vucci Coochie out there delivering game winners for us. So yeah, Bulls number 1. Yeah, we're probably going to get last pick of the first round. Just kind of is what it is after we win the chip and everything. You know how it is. But yeah, we taking Sean. Sorry, I don't know. 6'8", small forward, a lot of size in this one. Coming out of France, so many of them. Jalen Tyson. Ooh, I don't necessarily love that comparison, because like that means he wants the ball all the time if you're doing this correctly. He'll make a name for himself this year with his self-creation, isolation scoring, just copy and paste what I said about these self-creating kind of wings early on, right? That's the tough thing coming in for him. Elijah Freeman. Your boy is very, very familiar with this prospect. I can't exactly tell you why, but got a pretty close connection to this kid here. Pretty close connection. He's really skilled, man. Go watch his film last year at Lincoln Memorial. He is he's skilled, and he has been taught NBA offense. I can guarantee you he knows how to play NBA offense. Again, AVC's not gonna disclose too much about that. He knows how to play NBA offense. So just take that as you will. He's gonna be a fun one. He has no pro comparison right now, but yeah. Go watch him. Go watch some of him. Your boy's a fan. Oklahoma City Thunder, JT Toppin, a guy we saw a little bit of last year. Again, kind of an in-betweener. Kind of plays like a big man role in a smaller body. Smaller, 6'9", 230, right? But compared to Brandon Clark is an excellent comparison for him. Can be really effective if he's going to keep hitting that floater and if he can get a bunch of offensive rebounds. And then finally, Patrick Ngongba II. He was the backup big for Duke last year. This year, I'm pretty sure he's the starter. 6'11", Jonas Valanciunas comparison. I think that's who they compared him to 2 weeks ago. And I was like, really, this guy? He's more of a Jonas type. Physical inside presence with low post and passing skills. Not what I would have guessed just based off the appearance. I assumed run, jump, and dunk. That's my bad. Right hand up. My bad, but 6'11", 250, sign me up. Nothing flashy about his game, nor is there a clear path to upside. That's okay, man. We just need bigs. We need bigs right now. However, NBA teams could eventually see useful front court depth as 6'11", 250 pounds, has a special feel for how to finish plays and stuff. That sounds great to me. Sign me up. I'll work with it. I think it's cool. But anyway, just going through some of these other ones, see if there's anyone else interesting. De La Rey, saw a bit of him last year. Not too familiar with a lot of these guys. Dash Daniels. He's a second-round pick now, huh? That's Dyson's brother. I know a lot of people are excited about him in the NBL. Interesting. Henry Visar. Interesting. 7. Oh, this is a 7-footer? Why'd he look like 6'3"? Interesting. Anthony Robinson, not too familiar. Donovan Dent. Uzan, he was awesome for Houston last year. Kind of a bigger point guard. Condon, not sure he translates to the NBA. Miles Byard, he weren't sure if he was going to declare this last year. Thomas Ha, the other big for Florida. I thought there was a Miami Heat jersey for a second. Paul McNeil, NC State, not too familiar. Darryn Reed, we thought he might go to the draft last year. They still don't have a picture for this motherfucker. I remember this from 2 weeks ago. Yeah, you just get to draft the mascot. That's what you get. LaJuan Watts, awesome elite name. Ryan Conwell, big ass dude. Interesting. Oh no, he's only 6'4". These pictures tripping me up, man. I don't know. Compared to Ochai Agbaji. Emil Liatang. I see. I hate that you can wear numbers like this now. 29. That's some shout out Rasheer Fleming. I know we got some Rasheer Fleming fans and stuff. This guy's a 7-foot dude. Oh my goodness. Zuby. Where is he from? They're comparing him to Montrezl Harrell. That's a fun throwback. He was fun in college, wasn't he? Alex Caravan, that's right. He's still sticking around. My buddy's over at UConn. Love that he stuck around or whatever. Interesting, 7'2", 250. There's a lot of bigs, man. There's a lot of bigs. Braden Smith, they do him dirty with this picture again. One of the better players in college basketball. Merez Johnson, not familiar, but a freshman. Tariq Black comparison. Boogie Fland, yeah, we talked everybody off the cliff of him last year. Richie Saunders. Wesley Yates, not too familiar. Tomislav Ivizic, Illinois, playing some fun basketball, just in like the one game that I watched. So maybe go and watch them this year. They feel like a sneaky favorite to be really good this year. Not too familiar here, not too familiar here. Josh Dix, hilarious name. Xavier Lee, cool to see him in Florida. He's quick. And all right, that's it. Again, it's early. We're getting familiar with the names. We're getting familiar. And again, I encourage you, please try not to be overreacting to everything. One of our mods said it best in the Discord the other day. Shout out Matrix. He said, look, y'all, it's not funny to be like overreacting to this stuff. It's just not. And I was like, yeah, it's just fucking annoying. Like just overreacting to like every little game you see of everything and being like, this guy's the fucking best. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Just try to be objective with it. Have some fun. Watch the game. Post the highlights. Be like, oh yeah, check out how he did tonight. Like, good game out of him. Like, oh cool, that was fun or whatever. But don't be like, oh, I can't wait to see this guy in the Nets next year. It's just so, it's too much. But anyway, I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Maybe I'll get an extra video out to you guys this weekend. I'm not positive, but we'll see. I don't know. Anyway, have a great one. Let's move on to the comments of the video. Alrighty, y'all. Comment to the video is coming from the first episode of the NBA Rookie Report here, a weekly series where we're going to be diving into all the rookies around the NBA, watching some film on them. Again, we love to get excited about all the shiny new things. This is a place to go get excited about all the shiny new things and have a logical discussion about it. Also, go watch Last Week in the Film Room. There's also episode 2 of the NBA Progress Report out right now, which is what this comment is about. Shout out Castle Goat FR that said, did I hear there's a Castle video? I will be there. Well, it's out already, and I'm sure you've already commented on it and reacted to it and everything, but here's a little extra, like, we do this for you. But no, I actually just wanted to break down his film. It's a lot of fun or whatever to kind of break down his progress. And honestly, go watch the video because we uncover some stuff in there that maybe you just didn't know about Stephon Castle, and I encourage you to do so. This is a pretty in-depth series here. But yeah, go take a look at that. Say hello to your Nana for me and have a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much. Bye.